Jess Klein and Mike June, a fantastic duo this afternoon for NANCY-WEBTV. Many thanks. Brilliant, like says of British friends. And we are going to talk a little bit about you, Jess, and after with Mike. Jess, you was born Rochester, New York, and you moved to Jamaica.
Yes, that's true.
Did you kept some Jamaican sound in your head for your compositions now?
Well, I started writing songs while I lived in Jamaica, and I think the thing that stuck with me the most about that experience was the immediacy with which, in Jamaica, if something happens, there will be a song about it very quickly on the radio. So the lesson I learned the most was if something happens and it affects you, write about it. And, you know.
You have traveled a lot because when you left Jamaica, you came to United States again, Austin. Now you are in North Carolina. And when did you begin to sing and to play guitar? You have been to a school or you by yourself?
No, I taught myself for several years. I was 19 when I started living in Jamaica. That's when I started guitar.
And when began your career as a singer-songwriter?
When I moved back from Jamaica, I started going to open mics, and I was probably 20 years old, and then after college, I got signed to a record label a couple years later called Ryko Disc, and then yeah.
And you have some albums. How many now?
I think I have about 8. Mike thinks there's more. There's a couple side projects also. So.
And now we are very lucky because you have played a lot of songs from your new album. Can you, not out now, it will be out, I think, the 26th of
26 October.
And what is the title of this album?
It's called Back to My Green.
It means the conscience of ecology, no?
Yes, ecology, also the heart chakra is the color green. And because we moved to a more green place, it all kind of all together.
Because you talk about a song about you, talk about the mountain and the coal mine. Alors, je vais le traduire pour les Français parce qu'il y a une chanson sur laquelle elle parle des montagnes qui ont été décapitées par les mines de charbon.
Oui.
Can you talk a little bit more about this song?
Sure. We watched a documentary film about coal mining in West Virginia, and it just was very painful to see not just the hardships. You know, you hear about the hardships that human beings go through in working in the coal mines. A lot of folk songs and things teach people about that, but to see the mountain itself cut off was a very striking image, and it was just devastating to think that because of money and greed, a company would do that to the earth. Yeah.
And this album, the new one we are going to talk about, where did you made it? In your own studio?
In North Carolina at a town called Durham, and the studio is called Studio M because the producer's name is Mark Simonson.
And who writes the songs, the lyrics and the music?
I wrote all the songs and the lyrics and composed a lot of the music. One of the songs I co-wrote with another songwriter named Jonathan Bird, and I also co-produced the album with Mark Simonson and our engineer Tom Canova.
And for this album, you have a lot of musicians. You have a steel pedal. You have different instruments. And where did you? How do you choose the musicians?
Well, I was very new to North Carolina, so the musicians themselves were primarily chosen by my producer because I didn't know a lot of people where we live. But in terms of the instrumentation, we tried to just go with what felt right for each song, you know.
And these musicians are different the musicians you use for touring?
Yes, because my husband is not not on the album, but
The picture.
he took the cover shot.
He didn't cooperate for this album, only for the pictures.
Only for the picture.
The way that we like to, well, so far the way that we have worked is we keep our songwriting and recording kind of separate until we need the other person, till I need his opinion, and that was at the end. So.
And now you're touring in Europe, now in France for some dates. I saw that you're going to Netherlands and Germany. And how long do you stay in Europe?
Seulement 2 semaines et 2 jours après.
C'est vrai, j'ai oublié que ton français est fantastique.
Un petit peu.
And after that, you're going back to States, maybe working on your new songs and touring, no, in
Oui,
USA.
absolument. Oui.
Alors, we are going to talk a little bit with Mike too. Mike, what a great musician, what a great singer too. Because, you know, this program is called Beat Goes On because it's in reference of Jack Kerouac and the beginning of the 60s at the Village. And you make me remind this period. Yes, very, very, very famous. You can use the microphones if you want. And you told us that you have French roots, Huguenot,
roots? Yes.
from 1650.
1650s, my family came from France to England.
Yes.
Sailed to America, landed on just north of New York City, near the Hudson River, and settled there and stayed there. Still there.
And do you know where exactly your family come from in France? No?
I have not found that out yet, but I'd like to know.
It's difficult because it's a long time, 1650, and in France, after the French Revolution, it's difficult to have information about the roots of the people.
Yes, yes.
And you are a singer, songwriter. I think you have your own bands too.
I have my own bands. I've been making my own records. I think I have 6 records now. Been making my own records since I was like 23.
It would be a pleasure for me to play your songs too
Yes.
on the
It would
radio.
be a pleasure for me for you to play my songs. So.
And for your songs, you write music and lyrics too.
Yes, I write everything. I've never co-written a song with anybody. I'm a loner. You know.
I missed to ask Jess if sometimes she use covers. No, never.
There's one. I've probably written 4 co-write songs in my whole 10 albums or whatever. Usually alone.
And Mike, it's the first time you come in Europe with your wife?
No. This is our 4th year in a row, I think, coming together. And 3 years ago, I proposed marriage to her in Paris.
Ah, in Paris?
Yeah,
Oh,
very romantic.
Very romantic. Yes. And you are a great guitar player too.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. You make me think sometimes Neil Young or people like that. Yes.
I love Neil Young.
I like that. Yeah, very nice. Your dexterity to play guitar. I don't know if it's English dexterity.
Yes.
And what is your the last album you have on the market? You have in the recipe.
The last record I made was an EP that came out last year called Election Day, and it features 2 songs with me and an American band called the Backsliders from North Carolina. And the album I made before that was called Poor Man's Bible, and that was a full-length record.
His name is Elections. It means it's against the elections.
Yes. It's been on my mind a lot everywhere we go.
Yeah. The musicians are not very, very happy with last election in USA.
No.
And your music talk about your life, about the life, like politics, like it was the same thing during the 60s, early 60s with Dylan and the others.
I used to write a lot of songs about love and women, and about 7 years ago, I quit doing drugs and taking and drinking so much, and so when I got sober and my mind cleared up a little bit, I started looking at the rest of the world, and I was traveling a lot through the United States, touring a lot, and seeing a lot of the problems, and you know, I felt like I should write about it. Nobody else at the time was writing a lot of political songs, and I thought somebody needed to fill that space. Now people feel, I think, a little more brave to sing about politics, so hopefully more musicians will do it. But yeah, I just feel I don't feel there's a difference between writing about love and writing about politics, because it's what I love. It's my heart that's going out to the world, and these are the things that I feel pain about. So
Did you learn play guitar by yourself, or have you been to a special music school, or
no, I taught self-taught.
Self-made guitarist?
My grandfather was a country musician.
Ah.
So when I was a young child, he taught me how to play some Hank Williams songs, and that's about all the lessons I've ever got.
And your backing band, you was talking about, the Backsiders.
Mhm.
It's your regular band, or it's a band between a lot of bands you're playing with?
I have a band called the Dirty Doves that I made 2 records with, my first 2 records with, and many of those members played on all of my records. The Backsliders are a band from North Carolina who I only did 2 songs with, but they've made several records themselves, and I was just excited for them to have back me up, because they were so fantastic, and they were from North Carolina and good friends of mine. So I was just honored to have them do a couple songs. We did 2 songs on the Election Day EP and a cover of Lou Reed's "Busload of Faith" that we released last year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was fun.
Nice. And when you will be back to States, do you have some intentions to write new songs? Because for a new album, for example?
I have a lot of new songs ready for a new record, and my intention is to start a new record either before the end of this year or the beginning of next year with my band, the Dirty Doves. And
It will be a solo album. It will be an album with bands.
Yeah, I make all my records. All my records are very rock and roll. Very rock and roll.
Your band is more rock and roll.
Yeah. This is an anomaly for me to play solo. I usually always play with a band on records.
And what are your influences?
My influences? Well, I have a tattoo of Bob Dylan on my arm. John Coltrane is my favorite musician. I love jazz. Charles Mingus, the Grateful Dead, Jerry Garcia. I love all music, rap, jazz, classical, whatever. And sometimes I hear something and it makes me want to try something different.
You like the good music in general?
There's only 2 kinds of music. There's good music and bad music.
And when you are in States together, you play together in States too?
Yeah. But just like this, we tour and play shows together, and it's kind of new.
Yeah.
We've been doing it for like a year maybe, just doing it together, and it's so much fun. It's so much more fun than playing by yourself. Except for when I miss a note, and then I know I'm gonna get in trouble when I get home.
Many thanks for all that, and many thanks for the exclusivity of your new album. I promise you to broadcast it next week on the radio with Mike albums too, and hope to meet you one of these days soon. The studio is open for you. You can come when you want. If it's only for a video clip, you can come around. You're welcome.
Merci beaucoup.
Alors, je vais remercier les gens qui ont participé à cette belle après-midi. Donc, Pierrot était donc à l'image. Alain, alors on parlait de Neil Young tout à l'heure. Lui, Alain, il a dans sa tête que Crosby, Still, Nash & Young. He is a guitarist player too. Alain, à la table de mixage. Claude, c'est notre webmaster, c'est lui qui régit ce studio. Il était aujourd'hui à la lumière, mais il va faire beaucoup de choses après, parce qu'il va donc dérocher ce show, et dans à peu près une semaine, si vous allez sur notre site, sur le web, donc vous allez retrouver donc ce show remasterisé, et pourrez le podcaster autant de fois que vous le pourrez. Alors bien sûr, on va applaudir à nouveau Claude. Sans lui, rien ne serait possible. Et puis bien sûr, il y a Philippe Auden. Philippe Auden, c'est lui notre mentor qui nous amène tous ces merveilleux singer-songwriters de l'Americana, de la folk, de la country. Et un grand merci à toi, Philippe. Sans toi, rien ne serait possible non plus. Un grand applaudissement pour Philippe. Et puis aujourd'hui, le public du studio, il était composé des musiciens, parce que ce studio, il sert aussi de lieu de répétition. Il y a un groupe qui s'appelle Captain Carson, et en majorité, c'était des musiciens qui étaient dans le studio. Donc, un grand merci au Captain Carson. Alors, je vais vous quitter en vous donnant rendez-vous vendredi prochain, c'est le 19. Il n'y a pas de choses durant ce week-end pour différentes raisons. Il y a une annulation, et puis moi, je fais un grand festival de blues à Verdun avec des gens, vous pouvez y aller. Il y a Thomas Ford, il y a Olivier Gotti, Neil Black, enfin beaucoup de musiciens de blues, Watermelon Slim, un grand géant du blues du Mississippi. Et je vous retrouverai donc le vendredi 19 avec un groupe mythique. Il est français, il est de la région, mais ne manquez pas ce show. C'est un peu moi qui les ai un peu forcé la main à se reformer. C'est un groupe qui s'appelle Les Ouragans. Beaucoup de Lorrains ne connaissent même pas ce groupe, sont persuadés que les groupes sont uniquement nancéens. Non, un des plus grands groupes, il y en a 3, ils sont mosellans de toute façon. Et ce groupe, Les Ouragans, avec Marcel à la guitare, ce groupe, il avait la chance, il s'est formé en 63, il avait un chanteur canadien qui chante toujours de la country, on accueillera peut-être ici, ce chanteur canadien. Et ce groupe, il va venir donc faire un show de ce qu'il faisait à l'époque. C'était le seul groupe lorrain à enregistrer un hippie. Il leur faisait une reprise des Everly Brothers, mais tous les 3 autres titres, c'était des compositions originales. Ce groupe, il faut savoir qu'il a accompagné Vanda Jackson pour une tournée européenne, donc c'est des très bons musiciens. Et ce groupe, avec leur chanteur canadien, ils ont fait la tournée dans les années 70 des bases aériennes américaines en Allemagne. Donc vous voyez que ça va être un show quand même assez intéressant. Donc je vous donne moi rendez-vous vendredi 19 avec les Ouragans. Alors une bonne fin de journée à tous et à toutes. Et n'hésitez pas à revenir sur le web, à nous écouter, à nous regarder. Et à très bientôt.
The beat goes on. The beat goes on. The beat goes on.